So I got Sonic Frontiers, and honestly, poor on this game because this is the best Sonic has been in a very long time. What sucked about this game though is it came up against some stiff competition. I think it came up right against like God of War Ragnarok, literally a week apart. So I was like, I ain't buying that. I think something else came out at the time too, but I don't remember. But what's funny about this game is not even a week after it came out, because I remember it came out on a Tuesday, and that Monday I picked it up for $40. The game released at 60, they then dropped it to 40, which I'm like, they knew. But no, legitimately, this is the best Sonic has been since Adventure 2. This is what I've wanted for years from this game. And I know a lot of people have made fun of it, saying it's Sonic Breath of the Wild and all this, and honestly, it effectively is. It is, but it isn't. Like, I can see the aesthetic and the art choice and the Titans and stuff like that being compared and contrast to that. But there is a lot going on in this game. Like, even the story is kind of interesting, because what it basically boils down to is Sonic and his friends go investigate Eggman's bullshit, like always. He's fucking with these things called the Ancients. They're like ancestors of Chaos and the Chows and all that stuff. So really, it is connected to those lineages of games, which I'm like, all right, I'm in, let's go. But then some stuff starts to unfold. Sonic starts fighting Titans, and it is open world Sonic, for better or worse. There are some things I don't like about it. The old school Sonic stuff feels a little disjointed from the rest of the game. But to the game's defense, it does combat that because you don't actually have to do it. At certain points, you find Big the map. Once you find an icon, you can go to it on the map to reveal more of the map. I love the way they reveal the map with the pixel style. And the combat, it makes you want to actually play and do more of it. I actually am eventually going to go back in and complete the game. I just beat it for fun, but then some other stuff came out I wanted to play. But it is a game I do look forward to going back into. And even when you beat it, you get all the arcade levels to go individually. So if you want an old school Sonic game or an open world Sonic game, it does fit both needs. And even then, like if you don't like the old school stuff and you just want the open world stuff, you don't have to play it. But what it boils down to, it is islands. It is a rinse and repeat formula. Like with Sonic going, you have each different island for each of his characters. You get Amy, Knuckles, Tails, Eggman later, and stuff like that. The end game is pretty much like its own thing, where you just go through each certain segments and unlock the rest of the map to eventually get to the final boss, the end. But there are other things like the boss fights where you become supersonic. So the way you get about that is you have to unlock the Chaos Emeralds. And you can only do Chaos Emeralds by having so many keys, either through fishing or doing things around the map, exploration. Like, it does accommodate many different play styles. Like, I felt like in each world, I was doing something different. It did feel like there was a little too much in certain things. Like, I don't want to say that too much because I feel like that's wrong, but I feel like they were just throwing ideas to see what worked and what didn't with this first attempt at an open world game. But it got me, man. It's one of the better platformers I've played in a while. It definitely nails that sense of speed with Sonic, which I feel like has been missing. And honestly, it's an overall fantastic game. It's a fun game. I think this game really suffered from poor timing on release and poor reputation, because I don't know how well it sold or how many people actually played this game. Again, I wouldn't have bought it when I did, except it was $40, because there was so much other stuff that was out that if I was going to spend $60, $70 on the game, it would have been something else. Also, shout out to homie at GameStop, because I didn't pre-order it. I came in later to get something. I said I bought this, and they were on, like, they had extra, so he just gave me the dope steelbook. So I don't know the guy's name, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, Sonic Frontiers, I highly recommend. If you haven't played it or if you're just curious about it, I wouldn't pay full price, just because there are some drawbacks. There are some technical issues, like stuff does kind of spawn. From what I heard, it's real bad on the Switch. I haven't played on the Switch. I got it for the PS5. And there are some cool little things, like there's costumes. Like they just released a Christmas Sonic costume for Christmas, obviously. They released old school Sonic shoes, which I don't know who actually would even notice the difference, because I didn't know there was a difference with the shoes until I compared and contrasted them with the images. There's a Rathalos costume from Monster Hunter, so they are really supporting it. They just announced a DLC pack where all the characters that you rescue, I think, are playable. So this is a game I would really like a sequel. I would really like a Sonic Frontiers 2, especially because the way the end is. So basically, there's Titan fights, and each island has an end boss where you become Super Sonic and body him. Side note: Super Sonic in this is broken as hell. I will put $10 that he would fuck up base form Super Saiyan Goku someone argue with me on that, please. I really, I have ideas, but I'll skip that for now. That being said, so the boss fights are awesome, but what I don't like is after you beat the boss fights, they basically knock the Chaos Emeralds out of you to the new level, and you have to recollect them again. It feels like it's just a trope to get it, but I would have been more okay with, like, he can't control the Chaos Emeralds. He can only have it for a limited burst of time, and then it explodes. But it's Sonic. You knew you weren't going to keep him, especially because of how OP Super Sonic is. But each level, Titan fight, Titan fight, Titan fight. And the boss fights in this are awesome. They're all very different. Until you get to the last boss called The End. And what I found interesting about that is another part of the game is Eggman and the character Sage. And it's almost like it's an AI he created, but he basically treats it like it's kid. It's actually very interesting because you get to see Eggman almost compassionate, and that's not normally what you see from him. He's always just like, I'll get you next time, Hedgehog, and that's it. So to see him in a different light was really cool. But once you fight the end, and also what's interesting about the end, depending on what difficulty you play it on, is how difficult the boss fight is. I found this out after I beat it, because I beat it with one shot on normal, and I was very confused. I'm like, oh, that's kind of anticlimactic. I found out later that it's a hard as hell, like a shoot 'em up section, which I thought was really dope, but I kind of wish they did with a little bit more into it. Like kind of the one shot to me at the very end for the final boss fight felt a little anticlimactic, but knowing that there is a different version on hard mode made me just wonder why you didn't just lower the damage take or increase the health or something. Like if you already programmed the boss fight, you could have really made it easier, unless we're really trying to push this out against God of War, which I don't know who would. But I highly recommend. Give it a shot. If you've been looking to scratch that Sonic itch, because it hasn't been good since 2002, this is it. I would love to see a sequel with Shadow, because as much as one of people pretend he's an edgy version of Sonic, which he is, spoilers for Sonic 2, at the end when he popped up in that movie, I was hyped, because that means he's coming, and hopefully they're going to start bringing him back in. I mean, even Silver was kind of trash because he was only one game, but I'd be cool to see him in a game like this. Like, there's a lot you can do. You have the base blocks, you have the formula, you have the ideas, you have what works versus what doesn't. This is where you go. This is where you keep Sonic. Like the running joke with Sonic doesn't work. Sonic's making a comeback, man. Between the movies, the Sonic Prime show, my blue boy on the uprise, and I'm really here for it because it's been a long time coming and a long time overdue. But that being said, I enjoyed it. Did you like it? Did you play it? Did you hate it? Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Be good people. Gotta go fast and have a good one. Bye, everybody.